Hey guys, we're back with a solo playthrough with the fighter Illusionist, and we're going to be doing the end of Baldur's Gate 1. So there's a few things I've got to pick up, a few potions for the final fight that I do pick up here. So one of the things that I did consider before is there is a way you can actually import the Flame Tongue sword in a Baldur's Gate 2, but the only way that you can get that is by going all the way through Durwag's tower. And I decided that was pretty stupid to do, especially if you're not a thief. It is doable, I have done it before without a thief, but it's just generally not worth it. Especially if you're at the experience cap already. And I actually take that scroll of Cloudkill that I have and learn it just because it'll save me learning the spell in Baldur's Gate 2. And I shouldn't need it for any of the remaining fights either.
Hello.
We need to do the Nuchal Powers first, which is probably one of the harder fights in this game. Mainly because you've actually got to worry about protecting some NPCs. So we're up against 6 doppelgangers here. The reason I picked up that Chaos Scroll is for this fight, because very helpfully, it can cast Confusion in an AoE. And they also get a -4 penalty to save versus spell. So I pretty much cast this immediately, and it makes the rest of the fight a lot easier. You could do various things like hasting yourself and using potions in order to kill them quickly, but Chaos just disrupts them enough in order for it to not really matter. You could also use Dispel Magic in order to dispel their haste, but as you can see, pretty easy fight, because I think they all got hit by the Chaos.
Only the strongest. The streets will run red with blood. Run as you will. Cannot hide forever.
Them flaming fist pansies.
I hope this is worth it.
One of the things that I remember to do is that I need to rest 2 more times in order to get the Baldur powers for a drop on Holy Might. If you don't do that by the end of this game, then you'll never get access to those abilities, and drop on Holy Might is useful because it gives a strength bonus.
Yeah, I'll see to it.
So I'm kind of just rearranging my spells to go into Baldur's Gate 2. By this point, I do pick up Shield, which might be useful at the early stages of Baldur's Gate 2, but the main thing is I swap out some haste cast for Wraithform. Mainly because I'm not going to really use too many spells on the last fight in this game, and I think Wraithform will actually be quite useful at the start of Baldur's Gate 2, because it does make you immune to normal weapons.
You want some whiskey? I got some cheap beer for ya.
I hope this is
Hello there.
worth it.
I do pick up a few mirror image scrolls for the last fight, and it is worth noting that if I wanted to, I could probably go and kill Drist in a fight straight up. But it's completely unnecessary for me because I don't really want his scimitars or anything like that.
Yeah, I'll see to it. It's done. It's done. This is worth it.
I use a shield scroll here, but this is actually completely unnecessary as I end up using the 2 magic protection potions that give me 100% magic resistance. I was mainly taking the shield scroll because there's a couple traps in this area, magic missile traps. But I become immune to magic anyway, and this lasts all the way to the end of the final fight because the potions do last 2 hours. I opt to run past all the enemies in this area just because there's no real reason to fight them by this point. But if you are playing with a group or whatever, there are a numerous fireball, lightning bolt, and magic missile traps here, as we can see. So just keep that in mind. But because I took those 2 potions, I'm completely immune to them. There's a fight against a group of 6 that you can attack here, but since I'm invisible anyway, there's no point of fighting them for me. The leader, I think his name is Raven, he has arrows of detonation as well that he will hit you with, which can pose a problem. But that's why I actually bought the slow scroll, but I end up just not using it at all. We're going to use a bunch of potions before we even start the fight against Sarevok here. For example, I took a potion to get my strength to 24. I took a couple of those mind focusing potions, which will get me up to 25 dexterity. Although I probably didn't even need to do that, because I do eventually use drop on Holy Might. But I am going to use the longer lasting potions first here. The Oil of Speed, of course, is better than Haste for me. But what I end up doing is I do a lot of pre-buffing. So I buff out of combat and then throw my armor on, which might be considered cheesing. But I wanted to make this final fight as easy as I thought I could, and it ended up being pretty trivial.
This is worth it.
There are quite a few traps here, but I'm completely immune to magic, so really doesn't matter. What I'm doing here is I'm casting Dispel Magic from scrolls, because Sarevok starts out hasted, which can be a problem, because he does have 3 attacks per round. And now I'm doing a bunch of pre-buffing with my armor off, so Stone Skin, Improved Invisibility, Blur, and Mirror Image. This means that Sarevok should only be hitting me on a 15 or more, which is really good because I think he has like a -9 Thaco, which is ridiculous for this point in the game. But as you can see, I'm just stacking potions and spells and everything that I have. Worth noting is I bought multiple potions of regeneration just because they do actually stack, and they give you really nice health regen as well. As you can see, my saves are well in the negatives by this point, with all those buffs up.
You are indeed.
So the first thing I do is open with the arrows of detonation, mainly because I want to kill Sarevok's buddies before I kill him. And then I pull out the arrow of dispelling, which will always manage to dispel any magic from a person that it hits. So the mage goes down extremely quickly.
Let's do this quick and painless.
Come on, touch me like you know me.
And I decide to hit Sarevok with the Arrows of Dispelling, which is actually unnecessary because I don't think he has any buffs on him currently. And that's pretty much the rest of the fight. I do take out Tazok as well when he does show up. I do use one of those mirror image scrolls that I have, but apart from that, that's the final fight, as I take Sarevok in 1v1 combat, and I never even lost any hit points in this fight, so that shows you how overpowered buffing is, really. I'll let the ending play out, and that's the end of Baldur's Gate 1, guys.